So today we are here to refute this whole thing, this whole statement Eggman made in Sonic 06 about Solaris being a super-dimensional being, supposedly proving he is 5D. So this statement is an absurd for the following reasons I'm gonna give. So let's just start this and end this as fast as possible. Yesterday, I've debated with a guy in Discord who claimed Solaris is 5D based on the statement Eggman and Shadow made about Solaris being a super-dimensional being. They called me in a voice chat even though I can't speak English properly and I couldn't understand half the things they were saying. So the argument they used for this statement to be enough evidence for proving Solaris 5D is that the word super-dimensional in Japanese was directly superior to higher dimensional, which supposedly means it 4D in fiction. So the first problem with that argument is Sonic franchise doesn't work with superstring theory, nor the string theory in general. There was never any evidence that proves the Sonic franchise had anything related to the superstring theory. So the comeback for that argument was the superstring theory was not the only theory that used the concept of dimensions, that even without that theory, he could tell he was a third-dimensional being. Now, this argument has two problems. To get the easy one out of the way, let's start by debunking that I can measure my own dimensionality argument used to imply that superstring theory is not necessary. So the first thing is, the first three dimensions within our universe are not a theory, they are a fact. Width, height, and depth are existent and don't need to be proven, so this argument is totally invalid, as we're talking about concepts of higher dimensionals, which can only be measured with either theory M or superstring theory. So Eggman had to be stating Solaris is superdimensional inside those conditions, otherwise it proves absolutely nothing. Now the other thing he said was the superstring was not the only theory that used the concept of dimensional, which is correct. But all the other theories use completely separate concepts that won't influence with the concept of multiverse or hyperverse or anything related to it. Therefore, they are not usable as the superstring theory. The only way to prove a character is a higher dimensional in a universe that doesn't use superstring theory is based by feats alone. We know Supersonic is 4D because he transcends times, as proved so. But stating a character is 5D in a universe that showed constant 4D powers is absurd. In fact, it's an extraordinary claim. So this falls under Richin's razor, because in order to prove an extraordinary claim, you need extraordinary evidence. And Eggman's statement is not enough evidence to prove such an absurd power. Sonic 06 used a lot of distorted concepts, as it considered time periods as timelines, so nothing guarantees that Eggman's statement was actually meant to be taken seriously. It's most likely it's a hyperbolic statement, so unless you guys can provide any more substantial evidence other than just over-exaggerated statements a character made, Solaris is not 5D.